Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trash Movie Kings podcast. I am your host, Adam Edwards, joined with some friends, a bunch of creative types from around Houston, around the country, where we try to recreate the feeling that you get when you leave a midnight movie of Labyrinth after having 6 very dirty, very heavy martinis at the Weird Swingers Lounge next door, and you just kind of stand around outside under the marquee, kind of boozily reminiscing about what the hell you just saw. Now, Labyrinth, to be clear, not a trash movie. The movies that we watch in this podcast, absolute garbage. Trash. This is a podcast where various creative types all pile onto a Zoom meeting and watch some of the worst movies in history, looking for the diamonds in the rough. I'm talking movies you've never heard of, I've never heard of, movies that exist on YouTube. Not that they're in the public domain, it's just nobody gives a shit. They're just up on YouTube. That's how bad these movies are. These are trash treasures. This is the kind of crap that makes you question your taste, your reality, your life choices, and then we do all the heavy lifting and we let you know if they're maybe worth your time. Granted, we're in various states of sobriety when we do this, so maybe take it with a grain of salt, but also that's probably the best way to watch these movies. So yeah. Oh, one note. When you hear this sound, that means that you are hearing a clip from the movie session that we recorded prior to the episode of the podcast. And then when you hear this sound, that means we're back to the podcast. Now, if you watch on YouTube, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Which reminds me, we do have a YouTube channel where you can watch all of these for free. It has a video element, so you can see our faces, you can see the editing that's been done, and you can actually see the clips of the movies rather than just hear the audio of it. So yeah, that's about it. And sorry, Apocalypse Howl wanted me to let you know, he wants you to be warned that he has jokes that, you know, are worth warning about. So you've been warned about Mr. Howell's jokes. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I got for you. So enjoy the show.
JP, do you have a joke for Apocalypse?
Does he want a joke? Does he just want us to read a joke? I'll read a fucking joke for him. I was sitting in traffic the other day. Probably why I got run over.
What do you have for me this time? Hacking into the stock market, closing down a bank, fixing an election. It's all easy.
Right on.
Okay, and welcome to this week's episode of the Trash Movie Kings podcast. This is the last episode of January 2022. I'm your host, Adam Edwards. Joining me this week is Joseph Graham. How's it going, Joey?
It's going okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Justin
Hi.
Petty. How's it going, JP?
What up, yo?
Apocalypse Howl is out on assignment this week, so special guest this week, Christopher Giles. Giles, how's it going?
Hey, fellas.
Different energy. I like it. Yeah, so this week we watched 1992's Shadow of the Dragon, written and directed by Jimmy Williams and starring, with sneer quotes, Robert Z'Dar. He's in the movie for all of about, 2 minutes maybe. He is in 2 different locations, so at least they got him for 2 different days. But
it's a special appearance by Robert Z'Dar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely gets top billing.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a new trick, but yeah.
Right.
It's one that keeps...
So, yeah, who wants to take a stab at describing this one? Justin, do you want to go for a shot-by-shot breakdown?
No, I can't. I don't know what this is. It's like some drunk uncles had a camera. Just make something for daddy. We get the girls together. We got a convertible. We're gonna go up to Chicago and make a ninja movie.
I mean, yeah. Giles, do you have any like? I don't know. Do you want to kind of like break down the plot?
I mean, I can start us off at least. We open in the jungles of Vietnam, or the woods outside of LA. But it starts off as kind of like a Vietnam like exploitation sort of thing. Here's a company of guys, and they stumble into some Buddhist shit. I'm not even sure if that's geographically accurate. This movie has a very loose relationship with
Asia. The continent of Asia, I would say.
With Asian shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, and I've seen, kind of various like exploitation or genre movies that start off with sort of like a grizzled Vietnam flashback, and then maybe you flash forward to the guys and their struggles back in the real world. This movie doesn't really go there exactly, but we see some shit go down in Vietnam. We see character actor William Smith get very sexually violent with a big green Buddha statue.
Oh, you beautiful green bitch.
Wow.
Was this before or after Universal Soldier came out?
This what's been
Slightly before?
like a year or two before, I think. This was
Not very
Okay.
much before.
Because they both kind of open with that same premise.
Same year, so
Oh, really?
interesting.
yeah.
And I mean,
Universal plot point.
and I mean, this thing, has a 1992 release date. It looks firmly late 80s. There's a distinction there, but it's there.
Yeah, this looks early 80s. It looks 70s
Oh,
almost.
yeah.
It's terrible looking. Granted, the transfer we watched is, someone uploading a VHS to YouTube, but still, it looks bad.
Yeah.
One of these guys, one of these drunk uncles, had this in a
Drunkles.
box. Drunkles.
Drunkles.
And their nephew found it 15 years later and was like, "Oh, what if we release this?"
Yeah, I think someone got bored with it sitting on a shelf because no one ever wanted it, and it was like, let's just put it on YouTube and see what happens.
Well,
And now we're watching it.
And I mean, like, I'm all for these great boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome and Severin, like putting out beautiful Blu-rays of what has, what was once considered trash, and like giving these movies a fair, sincere shake. Having said all of that, I feel like a grainy YouTube rip is the appropriate context for this movie. I don't say that as a backhanded compliment, but it's just the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what happens beyond that? It's like they're in Vietnam. They steal a jewel from a Buddha.
he steals a jewel.
Yeah, this guy, I guess he's like the captain of like a platoon or something. And then he steals this jewel, and then some stuff happens, and he dies, and the platoon leaves him. He doesn't just die.
Well,
It
they all
explodes
go,
into
like-
nothingness.
He like steps on a landmine or something. And
Oh, I thought that they were
Yeah.
sleeping. I thought they were
Kinda
just like
reminded
laying
me.
down sleeping.
Well, they eventually are, but then that
Then
guy
it blows up?
explodes, and then
Well-
they're hiding, right?
And we see him explode. Like, it's actually it's an effective like little bit. Like, we see the explosion and body parts falling from the air, and then but there's after that a close up of William Smith looking bloody and dead, but still intact. So this movie has kind of a loose.
Yeah,
relation.
he's standing there. The explosion goes off. He's completely gone, and then we cut to his face being bloody, and it's
Yes.
like, whoa, I thought he just completely blew up.
Too bad.
Wow.
Have a good time in Hanoi, guys.
Well, he plays the president in a Frank Stallone movie called
What the
Terror.
fuck?
Whoa!
Holy
The
shit!
fuck?
Is that his
man.
body that just disappeared? That is now there.
Oh,
Okay. We're in
So that's
LA
why he's listed at the bottom.
which I agree, liked, but I guess we needed to see more of him because,
right.
spoiler alert, he's alive still.
Yeah. And later on, we see one of our lead characters say to him, the guy who blew up, "You left us for dead out there." I'm like, no.
I didn't get that feeling that they did. They
Yeah,
saw him
like-
blow up and were like, that guy's dead. Like, it wasn't like he got slightly injured and they were like, we have to go. We were like, whew, yeah, he stepped on a landmine. Goodbye.
But it's this brief and propulsive and very weird Vietnam intro, 1974 Vietnam, and then we jump forward to LA, the present day. And LA in this movie is like one stock footage shot of a Chinatown neon sign.
Yeah.
A lot of repurposed office space and the director's house. And there's actually something kind of beautiful about that. But
for sure.
And I guess two of our guys that we saw like napping in the bush in Nam while their compadre got blowed up. They're now cops who eat a lot of lasagna. And
they're fat Italian guys in their maybe 40s, but they seem like they're 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely playing younger than
but they're definitely getting hot blondes. So
Right.
He proposed to a prostitute because he kept arresting her.
He was like in charge of the vice
prostitute.
department and busted this same prostitute over and over and over again and locked her up in jail. And he was just like, what do I gotta do to get you to stop being a prostitute? In the jail cell, he asks her this.
Yeah.
And she goes, ask me to marry you.
And that started the rom-com section of the film.
If I thought you was if I thought you was serious, I actually would. I am serious. And then it becomes kind of
it's kind of cute.
It becomes a tender moment, and that leads into a montage. It's complex and ambitious juggling of tones, this film.
That is a way of putting it. Yes, a complex and ambitious way of juggling tones. So it's that guy who's hanging out, who ends up marrying a prostitute, and then there's another are they detectives, I guess? And they're partners.
They're detectives with...
They're like captains. One of them's a sergeant, one's a captain. I don't know. They keep going back and forth on that.
There's a line of dialogue where he says, I was a captain for a while, and then a sergeant, and then a lieutenant. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't track in any sort of...
Right, that line doesn't make sense to me.
This is pre-internet.
I think he was saying he was talking about when he was in the army.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. And I don't know, it's they're ostensibly on the case of trying to bust up like a drug ring that we see in these side scenes, and there's some vague Orientalism and martial arts going on with like this mystery ninja. There's like drugs and just kind of low level thuggery.
I don't know if it's vague. It's pretty like it's pretty front and center. We don't know what the fuck this is, but it's Asian.
Yeah, the
and this is
scene
racist.
is them all in I want to say dragon masks, but that's probably not right. But like every member has a mask on at first, a definite mask, and then the main guy has like a big dragon mask on. And he takes it off just to reveal that he has a ninja mask on. And then that's our crime guys. That's all we really need to know about them. They're doing crime and they're mysterious. It doesn't. Like nothing else matters about that. It's mostly about these two fat guys, fat Italian dudes.
Vietnamese Buddhist ninjas headed up by an old fat white guy.
And these two fat Italian New York cops who are on the LA beat. Occasionally the movie kind of goes into like very low rent LA noir, and like there's some voiceover going on, sort of like very hard-boiled light dialogue, but every time we see them like detecting and going to places and getting clues, it has seemingly nothing to do with our ninja drug dynasty. And then like we pause for like a sweet home movie montage of one of the guys with his new girlfriend, and it's
this jazz singer broad
yes, who used to be on heroin, and now she's just there for the music.
from the Kit Kat Club.
The Kit Kat Club.
I guess someone shows up dead at first that has a Kit Kat Club matchbook on them, on their persons.
I also want to say for the record, like we're making lots of like fat Italian guy jokes, which sounds insensitive, but there is literally there's literally a bit in this movie where our hero is climbing up a ladder and kind of holds his tummy and it's just like, oh, I've had too much lasagna.
I'm 75.
I gotta cut down on the lasagna.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, like it's fucking Garfield or something. It's
they're making their own. Yeah, they're making their own fat Italian jokes. I don't think we're making any more than they did.
It's okay, guys. I'm Italian. I'm not offended.
I never knew this about you. Yeah, you're Sicilian. Let's keep that.
What do you? Let's make it clear. You're garbage.
You're the garbage.
I'll let you on the mainland.
Yeah. Anyway, they what do? They figure out the case.
So there's something going on
Bada
with
bing,
like,
bada
drugs being smuggled into the country through Buddhist art pieces.
East-West Trading Company. Yeah.
Yes, the East-West Los Angeles Trading Company USA. I don't fucking know, man.
They're in the West, but it's coming from the East.
And like all of
that is the implication.
And like all of the side goons and like this drug gang, they either look like some of them look like early 90s coked up LA struggling actors, but most of them look like just kind of like rando like friends of the crew who work in IT. It's
yeah. Some of them don't even look like IT. They look like Quick Mart guys, or I don't know, engineer. Welders perhaps. I don't know. There's a lot of random looking people in this movie for sure, and then not a lot of costuming. I don't think was happening. Maybe more than I think, honestly, because I don't know if some of these guys showed up with some of this weird ass shit. I started writing down stuff that they were wearing. I was like black slacks and boots with a jean jacket, and then yellow tank top with a sweatshirt, and then high turtleneck. White sneakers with jeans and glasses.
Well, think about it. If you're one of these these struggling actors, if you're one of the few actual actors that get called to come to this movie, they're gonna just say, "Where's something interesting?"
That's what I was gonna say. They're gonna
get the weirdest shit in their closet so that they stand out more than everyone else in the movie.
Well, I didn't look at the credit list. I walked away, but I hope that someone was costuming these people. That would be awesome, because it's all just really random.
It's very specific.
It really is.
Like it's an LA movie. It feels very like Midwestern regional though. Like
yeah. I kept questioning whether or not they were actually shooting any of this in LA. It's, it could have very well been shot in New Jersey.
Well, we had that one scene at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, they
had
go
nothing
to
to do with
Chicago.
anything.
Now he's in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is this movie?
I don't know. An excuse for these guys to do stuff with chicks.
They go to Chicago for some reason, but they definitely let us know that they got some footage of Chicago. Like they made it count. At some point, Morty Seinfeld detective goes down to Tijuana. Yeah, and
that was that hard-boiled scene. It was just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it becomes an Elroy novel, like for 2 minutes. It doesn't even really establish that's Tijuana. You just see some ladies dancing topless and him just kind of peeping around. It's like, I guess it's Tijuana. It's
Well, it ends with when he gets thrown in a dumpster. That guy's like, "Welcome to Tijuana."
And all of your suspicions are confirmed.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's a casual relationship with geography,
To say the least, yeah.
So,
Casual relationship with like
Reality,
reality.
Yeah.
This whole
plot
movie is-
structure.
overall, I found it kind of charming. With like,
Yeah, me
its,
too.
Yeah.
because like it is super low rent, and that makes some bits kind of a tough sit. Like there's a bit where it's the two detectives and their ladies, and like they're having coffee and donuts before they retire to have a beer in peace, because so they could have their man talk, and like clearly that is one of their houses, like, and it's so very low rent, but there's just enough like specificity to it that kind of makes it, I don't know, charming. I would say.
Yeah. It's clearly like these older gentlemen trying to put together a movie in maybe their later years. Like they'd seen like a Robert Zadar film or two, maybe three or four, and they were like, "Fuck it, we can do this. We got like a few bucks. We could put this together. We can get that dude out here, and we could just make it happen. We know enough people. Let's do ninjas, because that's like a thing. We like at some point there's a kid in a Ninja Turtle shirt, so you like know ninjas were very popular in 1992.
Yeah.
If you were there. So these guys are just like, throw in some ninjas. It's a crime thing. We wanted to do a gangster picture. Let's fucking do it for, $50 grand. And there's a lot of people in this movie. That's probably the biggest expense, but everything else is very, very cheap. And
They did blow up 2 cars.
We see some good car explosions. It's difficult to determine what's stock footage and what's not, because
I think the third one is stock footage, but I'm pretty sure the first 2 are practical.
and
Orange truck
Perhaps.
was definitely the same truck they were driving around.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
like-
that first car that like ramped up and flipped and exploded, I would be surprised if they got stock footage of that.
yeah.
it looked like the rest of the movie for the most part. That one
Right.
did. And then
And I
there's
mean-
some okay special effects.
Very
There's
much.
a guy getting
Oh,
electrocuted. That's pretty fucking good. Why did this cop throw away his gun to lose?
Oh shit!
Oh wow, his skull's coming out. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, they really let us enjoy that.
Yeah, and then
That was
the
long,
hand.
and they kept coming back to it.
Early on,
yeah,
there's
the
the
hand.
hand being chopped off,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is pretty cool. Oh shit!
Oh damn! Fucking cut through it like Play-Doh.
Hell yeah!
Pack that treasure into a crate and ship him home. And God rest his mortal soul.
They do cheap out on a couple of occasions. The most notable of which is probably where a guy's head looks like it's gonna explode in like a
It's like a pressure.
I don't
like
know,
a deep
pressure-
depressurization chamber or something.
yeah, and they're like showing him, and he looks like his head's like swelling for a second, and I was like, oh, they're for sure about to do like a really cheesy head explosion, and then they kind of cheap out and just throw some blood on a window, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
I
did that a
couldn't
couple
believe
times,
that they actually did it, and the
I think
effect
so,
didn't
too.
work out how they wanted, so they had to cut around it.
I
But they
agree
definitely
because
went for it.
there's
Yeah.
a moment where like he's sitting there and it cuts to one of those shots where you're like, okay, that's clearly like a puppet or a mat. Or
Oh yeah,
something.
his head was like swelling.
Mhm.
right, and you're like, okay, this is where the effect comes in, but then
Yeah.
they just cut to something completely different. so-
Which was weird because I was like, man, these guys were getting embarrassed of their low like micro budget film, and I was like, man, they should have just left it in. If they had just known that, like, at some point people would like that kind of thing. They could have just left it in. I think they got embarrassed in a couple of spots. You could feel it, or at least I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie was an ego project for them. Like they were not going to let this out. These older guys, like they wanted to impress some people with this movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
probably just the chicks that they had in the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an ego project, but I mean, there's definitely some ego involved.
Well, no, yeah, I mean,
make a movie.
They definitely didn't want to make themselves look bad in it. It wasn't about ego, but like they were definitely concerned about how they looked.
It's a strange mix of like wanting to make a movie on a low budget and being concerned with being cool. Like, because I think they're taking advantage in some instances with like, hey, let's shoot one scene in Chicago. Like, I swear that's just like we can write it off for taxes or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's a couple of scenes like that where it just feels like they're making the movie just to have a vacation, which is perfectly fine. But yeah.
No,
there's a couple of scenes where they get a little.
Yeah, it's like before Sandler made that whole concept popular, right?
Yeah,
right, Giles.
You know what? Gazillionaires do it. There's no reason why these guys can't do it. And like good on them for going hard and creative for the most part on special effects and kills, because this is also a movie to kind of give you an illustration of where like we see our hero detective, I think in his house, and it's like a shot of him standing in front of his front door talking to another guy, like a mysterious character, and it's like shot on a detective, shot on our mysterious guy, and clearly they are not in the same space. Like
I forgot about that guy.
Like he was just reciting his lines. Someone was reading his lines off camera or whatever, and they edited it together. And
it should have been a phone call.
And it's pretty shoddy, and that's how they kind of and there are lots of bits in this movie like that where it's like, oh, they kind of threw this together with spit and glue. But then also they took the time to go to Chicago and took took the time and expense to blow up some cars real good too. So good on them.
They spent the money in some of the right places, I think, for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, like this like narrative we're building around these two guys who made this movie, this movie could have been so much worse than it was. There is some competency there that it's almost surprising that they had enough restraint and they knew enough of what they were doing to make the movie. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot that's wrong with it, but in terms of like practical production, like there was a lot that they understood also.
I think the fact that they finished it, yes,
Right.
is like a high accomplishment probably for them. Like they were probably surprised. I think with the way that this looks like it went, they were probably just like, this is not gonna end up as a film on YouTube 30 years from now at all. This is gonna be nothing. It's gonna sit in our basement forever. But good on them. Like we're watching it now.
Oh no, they're probably like telling their grandkids now.
They're definitely
it's on the internet. Check out the YouTubes. We got it on the YouTubes.
If these guys are alive, I would be shocked. They've had too much lasagna.
Well, yeah, I mean, William Smith is dead. He died last year. So
he looked like he barely survived this movie.
Yeah, it's a miracle that he made it to last year, but he did.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten to the ending of the end of the movie where it's revealed the drug dealer ninja is the Left 4 Dead guy who stepped on a landmine, I guess.
It's not Halloween. Why don't you take the mask off? I suppose I could grant that wish to a dying man.
And he's mad. I don't know.
And mad that he stepped on the landmine.
Yeah, and he's reunited with the statue that he stole a gem. Yeah, stole a gem off of, and he gets to repeat some of his familiar lines from the intro of the movie.
It's they like I don't know if he was drunk or sober, but they clearly just put a camera on him and told him just to go for it.
He went for it.
Statue. It's hard to describe, but he gets very erotic.
Yeah.
It's kind of It's they give him a lot of space to just get very weird with this statue in both bookends of the movie. Like the opening is like that, and this ending is like that. And it's like it weirds you out at the beginning, but it's funnier because he's like, "Yeah, you beautiful." Oh, also this guy has the worst smoker's voice, but on purpose, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like he's.
You beautiful green bitch. It's this green statue, and then he takes the jewel off of it or something, and he's like, "You're an ugly bitch, fuck you," kind of thing.
But you're beautiful, and I love you.
But you're beautiful, and I love you. And then he almost dies, and then like 20 years or whatever pass, and then come back to it, and he's like, "You're so beautiful. I'm glad I got you back. This is the whole point of my drug ring, etc." And then the statue falls on him, and he dies, I guess.
You ever touched a green bitch in the shoe?
Oh no, the green bitch is gonna kill him.
Oh no, she's gonna be full of drugs.
You think this just pops open and it's like pure heroin? No, it just kills him. How poetic.
And we have one of our detectives like literally saying like, "Oh, things have come full circle." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, fellas."
Yeah, that was the last line of the movie, wasn't it?
Something like
that.
There's there's some wild hair in this movie, and I don't mean like that,
sure.
Like in the sense of like you see a movie from the late 80s and like, oh wow, like hairstyles were funny back then. Like no, like there is like wigs
even for the time, weird stuff going on here.
Like rogue, like there's clearly some dyed hair going on with some of our older gentlemen in track suits. There's some bizarre facial hair, like it's
rolled on wigs maybe for the older guy that just randomly dies. Was that guy? He seems like maybe a lower level king. Not kingpin, obviously, but some kind of like
he was some like.
He seems like a shitty strip club owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. And he's like, his car is clearly rigged for a bomb, and then he goes inside to check on his prostitute wife or whatever, and then he comes back out, or he like check, but he like looks at his wig, and he's like, "It's good." Maybe it's not a wig. Maybe that guy just has great old guy
like
hair.
Greased down.
Yeah, it's weird looking, and then he goes outside and gets shot by Mr. T, but Captain big.
Yeah, he gets shot by the largest man in the world.
I don't know, but it looks cooler. Oh no! It's the big boy.
Captain Murphy. Oh, or maybe just everyone in this movie is short, and that guy's like 6'3".
Yeah,
I don't know. Hard to tell.
He was huge.
That guy's having fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he fucking loved being in this movie. He was like cackling like a crazy man the entire time.
We've got Robert Zadar in a mustache.
Robert Zadar with a mustache? I don't know if it was.
It was a fit Robert Zadar too. He was still keeping it tight.
It was it's interesting seeing him in this mode because I think Robert Zadar and like there's Maniac Cop or
Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop. There is it. I think,
and those are all the Robert Zadar movies.
I think.
Like a million.
or like Future War when he's like doing sort of like a alien kind of thing, and like playing these villains or kind of like otherworldly monster types, and then here he's like playing the
Straight.
You guys are out of control, damn it. Like I got internal
like
affairs crawling up my ass. Like he's playing the grizzled, like tired police chief
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's a different police chief in this movie randomly.
The
type.
Cruella de
Vil cigarette guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
And they both have like
they never showed him again.
And they both have like pencil mustaches.
Right.
Yeah, they both
like,
have the same kind of facial hair.
Was
like
that
dueling police chiefs?
was that the disguise guy? Just in a disguise?
No. That would be amazing.
No, that guy was
but
way
no.
older.
No, it was not that guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of just kind of just random bits of bizarre choices and specificity in this movie that make it go down a lot easier than a movie this cheap sometimes does. Like the worst thing, like if we're like zooming out a bit and speaking broadly of your trash king kind of selections, like the worst thing a movie can be is boring, and this movie is not boring. It's kind of bizarre and fascinating to watch. Like even little stuff like when our detectives go to the Kit Kat Club and they're there acting like doofy cops, and the one dude wants to order a white wine, and then his partner's like, 2 beers.
Can I get you gentlemen something, or aren't you supposed to drink while you're on duty?
We're not on duty, sweetheart. Just bring us 2 beers.
I think I'd like a glass of white wine.
Bring us 2 beers.
We ain't no pussies.
You know I like beer.
Look, you're not in Beverly Hills.
Anakin,
You don't
fuck
have
that
to
shit.
pick
I'm blue ribbon.
2 beers, which is like, okay, whatever. And then later on, he has too many beers to get totally drunk. And his wife is like, that's why you should stick to white wine, honey. And it's like, okay, this is like an actual character like arc.
Yeah, like they're trying to build a character beat here, but whatever.
It's bizarre. It's just a weird choice to pick that thing and then
Immediately
not
drop
have
it when they're in the
yeah,
backyard.
like never talk about it again. It's
Yeah.
no, yeah. I felt like it started a little clunky, but then you start realizing it has like a more subtle kind of trash tone. Where it's just like weird. It's not like big brash decisions every 5 minutes. It's like little weird things like that every 5 minutes.
There are many flavors of trash.
This is a different flavor,
and this is a different flavor of LA too.
It is.
Like watching this, I had the thought a few times, like, oh wow, yeah. Remember when movies had people in them, like people who looked like people, and all of their bizarre glory.
Oh yeah, these are real people.
Oh yeah.
Last week we watched a guy with a very hairy chest, but otherwise everyone was pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This has some literally like pretty not attractive people in it doing stuff, which is nice to see.
Oh,
And
Yeah, like a fake
that
Billy
was like-
Mitchell and
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like a low budget movie in 1992 even could have very not attractive people, whereas nowadays even a low budget movie is like, Instagram stars or whatever. It was nice to see.
So did anybody have any favorite parts that really stuck out to them?
The guy that they pulled out of the car when the car blew up, and they had him laying against the other car, and he was just he was looking at the car. And he goes, "That could have been me,"
And then he died.
and then died.
I'm glad you remember that. That was fucking good. Yeah.
The guy on the left looks like Morty Seinfeld.
Oh.
That was a good spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Giles, did you have any favorite parts?
It's so we have our one cop, and there's like a series of flashbacks of him busting his future wife for prostitution and then proposing to her in the jail cell. So like that's like a married couple, and then his partner, it's like he is reconnecting with the Kit Kat Club singer, but like they develop a relationship over the movie. I think is what the implication is, or like what's going on. In any case, they have themselves a little montage out of nowhere in this sort of cop drama.
Oh yeah,
ninja drug movie.
That was like right before or right after the Tijuana scene.
I think so.
They're eating ice cream and stuff.
Like it is your like textbook late 80s, early 90s romantic montage of kind of like a power ballad like going on, and like they're walking around a fountain and looking at like a pretty like ocean view, and but you know, it has kind of the visual quality of a homemade movie.
It's shot like a home movie.
I think they blew all the budget on the car explosions. But
they just had a camcorder and they were just walking around.
But it's hitting all of those.
Full camcorder.
But it's hitting all of those romantic montage beats, and that to me was kind of like the oh, okay moment for me watching this movie. It's like, all right, this is weird and cute and charming in its own sort of thrown together way.
Yeah, and I liked how that came immediately after this weird scene of these two guys like unloading things in the shipping area, and they're like talking about, oh well, these packages need to go over here because they're the drugs, and these need to go over here because they're not. And it's just this weird scene that doesn't fit anywhere whatsoever. And then it smash cuts to this married couple in front of a fucking fountain. It's just like, okay, yeah, let's have this journey now.
You actually see like whether they like this was like an intentional thing that they wanted to work in on like the script writing level or not, but like you see like a lot of kind of like low level thug drudgery in this movie. That's kind of fun.
Just kind of people lingering in the background, just maybe staring at the camera, maybe not. They're just kind of looking busy.
Yeah,
it's good doing warehouse stuff.
I love how, whether we're talking about clearly made on the cheap movie like this, or like high profile, high budget, Oscar winning Scorsese movies. But if you're talking about movies with like gangsters and drug dealers, there's always like that bit where they're like, they have to check out and taste the stash. Like,
every single time.
Every single time. I love it. And I'm disappointed when it doesn't happen.
Good soup.
Good soup.
How about you, Adam?
I really liked the scene with it was when they first go to that bar. I think it was the Kit Kat Club, when the two detectives go together, and it's the scene where he wants to order the beer for the two of them, and the guy's like, "Oh no, I just want white wine," and he's like, "Ah, shut up, you little pansy, you're gonna have beer." But throughout that scene, they keep cutting to the band. And there's this fucking dude playing electric guitar. And he looks
like
it's
bass, but maybe
whatever.
Playing is a stretch.
Electric still. Yeah, playing is a stretch.
He looks
could not
like
be less enthused to be there.
He looks like the audiovisual like supervisor at like a high school. This guy, he sort of has like that. He has like that late 80s nerd face, and I'm thinking of us like extras from the movie Computer Chess, like that type of like era of nerd of white nerd. He has that face, and he's there playing bass at the Kit Kat Club. Good for you, bud.
Yeah, like he looks like he doesn't know where he is.
The Kit Kat Club care. The Kit Kat Club in general is awesome because it looks like every fucking dive bar that I went to probably 10, 12 years ago in Houston.
Like, that's the thing.
You can't find it would for sure be a karaoke bar now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing too, when like they first sort of like, when you see kind of like the wide shot and interiors of the Kit Kat Club, like my first sort of knee jerk, snarky asshole watching an old movie reaction was like, oh, this set looks awful. Then I was like, no, like this looks like a Kit Kat Club.
Yeah.
this looks
Yeah.
exactly like what this type of bar is. I've been to this bar, and well done.
It's like fucking Shiloh Club, but bigger.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Shiloh Club. It's basically Shiloh Club. It's awesome. I appreciated that club.
Yeah. Joey, did you have any favorite parts?
Nothing we haven't talked about except for the fast forwarding fight scene.
Whoa. Are they speeding it up?
No, but yes.
Okay.
Which I think
Oh yeah.
were pretty
He was jumping. It looked like
terribly
Super Mario.
fun. Oh yeah, everybody was moved real fast and real good, and they were all getting their marks real quickly. Nothing more to say. That was just fun to watch, and it just went on way longer than I thought it would. I thought it was just going to be one shot where they sped it up to try to trick us, but they were like, no, all the fight scenes are sped up because everyone's slow as shit. And no one's like a very particularly good martial artist in this movie.
And that one guy punched the shit out of that other guy in the face, like at the end of that scene.
The dude that
punched the woman
chick
in the face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Dude, he fucking clocked her.
Boy.
Oh shit. That was
brutal.
That looked like a legit pop.
You tag her?
It definitely fucking looked like it.
I think he might have tagged her in the jaw a little bit. Yeah. But she did good. Everyone did good. The camera is another thing. It's just like somebody just wide to medium shots, so they just set up the camera and just like, just do the scene and no coverage and no thought to the direction outside of that.
With one exception though, there is one pretty early in the movie after Vietnam. There is one tight shot after they use the needle. I don't know what the needle was for.
I know.
Oh god,
but
the
they
needle.
like stab the needle or something in these people's backs. And there's a very tight shot of this man who looks kind of like Vin Diesel taking the needle and licking the blood off. And it's just a tight shot of his mouth as he licks the needle. And that's probably the only tight shot in the entire movie.
Fuck, I forgot about fake Vin Diesel.
As we learned, as we learned last week, the ninjutsu or being a ninja is the art of anything that works.
Yeah.
so in this, the thing that the operatives keep using, not that they're ninjas, it just keeps happening, and they don't wear the ninja garb or whatever. But people keep killing people in shiesty ways. Where people in this movie, it's stabbing people in the neck. And it just leaves a dot of blood, but they're dead. So, and that just keeps happening over and over again. And I don't really know why or what the deal is with it, but it just happens every now and then in the movie.
Yeah.
Turns out Mike is wrong. You can just walk down the street and find a ninja dojo written on some fucking building.
Yep.
That was definitely a
ninja.
Yeah, that was maybe one of my favorite shots was seeing a if we're gonna do favorite shots, was seeing ninja pasted on the side of a 2-story building.
And I mean, like
in LA.
I mean, and like that was a huge sort of cultural era for just ninja culture, just like ninja fever sweeping the Western world. And as kind of maybe not so great as some of our martial arts action is in this movie, I like how they kind of covered that with your actors, or just I guess post-production, like overdubbing, like everyone is super leaning into like making ninja noises as they're fighting.
Oh yeah,
like
whooshes and the
right. Like it kind of reminds me of like being a kid and you're playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat with your buddies, and like as you're doing it, you're kind of like adding sound effects as you play. It was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoi!
So I guess moving on to the bees. This one kind of a mixed bag. We had some blood. We did have boobs, which I was surprised, honestly. It didn't feel like a movie that was going to have boobs, but
yeah,
it did.
I kept thinking this movie's definitely not going to have boobs because these guys are just too old.
Right. It just felt like it. Yeah,
It wasn't like a hot movie. It was
right.
like
It was not a horny movie.
Not a horny movie. Yeah,
but there was that sequence kind of in the middle that we did.
You see some.
It was like what a
right.
50-year-old guy at that time considers a horny movie. It was like horny for a 50-year-old dude.
Yeah. In that same sequence, we got some butts, but outside of that sequence, those things did not exist. There was one boat. It was just in the background, just passing through, but I'll count it.
This seems like a movie that should have had a butterfly knife.
Should have, yes.
This movie should have had a butterfly knife.
Had a couple of ninja stars.
There was a couple of ninja stars. They worked in the ninja element, you know.
It had a lot of Buddha.
Oh,
Buddha, that's a B.
Got some Buddha.
A lot of Buddha.
Buddha also could be
big Buddha bitch.
It had a beautiful Buddha bitch.
Oh, you beautiful green bitch.
Oh God, okay. More kisses.
Bitch, you're ugly.
Voice of Smokey the Bear.
There was no... What else? No boardroom.
Had beer.
Yeah, not really. It's not. Yeah. It's not. There's no corporate element to this.
Right.
It's all low level drug things. If there's a boardroom, if anything, it's like police politics.
Right.
So you don't really get the boardroom aspect, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You had some boys drinking beer.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, true.
Beers.
Boys
in
drinking
in the back alley.
Yeah. Boys throwing back brewskis. It's a good one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Blasts.
Huh?
Blasts. Are we counting explosions? Do we have a B word for explosions or anything?
I mean, we can make one right now. Blast.
Yeah, blast. Boom. You just made one.
It's our show, man. We can do
how about we just booms? We had some booms.
Oh, I did like that.
I think
so
we should
many
do
booms.
blasts because sometimes you can see a boom mic, and I want to be able to differentiate.
Okay, yeah,
that's a good point.
Blast. Yeah, those. I will say the car explosions.
Like
lit up my screen so hard that I was like, my eyes.
Yeah.
Granted, it's dark and I've been drinking, but still very bright blasts in this one.
Bright blasts.
Bright blasts.
There were blondes.
Oh, there were.
Yeah.
Blonde
broads.
Blonde broads.
Beautiful green bitches.
So I guess we can move on to the rating.
Sure.
5 out of 5 bags of trash. How many bags would each of you give this movie? Now, Giles, since I don't think you've been a part of this before, the rating is just whatever's in your heart, man. It's fine. Just whatever you feel in your heart. Bags of trash. So I guess we can start with JP. How many bags of trash out of 5?
I think I'm gonna give this one a solid 4.
Okay.
This was the right flavor of trash for me. It was fun. It was interesting in all the strangest ways. These guys were goobers and they were having fun, and they they had a goal and they set out and they made it. This movie was perfectly executed for what they wanted it to be, and I liked it.
Cool. Giles?
With, happy agreement with everything JP just said, I'll say 3.5 bags of trash. In terms of how much I enjoyed it and am likely or not likely to rewatch it, I would say this is a 3-star movie, but the friends made this together vibe of the movie, the very charming kind of thrown together aesthetic of it all, I find very charming. I like as I've gotten older and I try to watch more movies in the trash realm, I love it when they feel personal and when they just feel weird and specific. And this is like an LA movie, but but it's like no other LA movie I've probably ever seen. It
they just made it for themselves.
Yes, exactly. And the fact that it's just, chock full of people who look like people, and like cop drama, like cute romance, ninja action, drug gangs, like it's throwing all the stuff against the wall and into this weird kind of little stew. And I dig it. 3.5 from me.
All right, 3.5. Joey.
God, yeah, it's definitely a 3.5, 4. God, I don't know. Call it a 4. It's pretty fun. The rewatchability factor I think keeps it from being a 5 for me. I don't know that I would want to rewatch this, but it was really enjoyable to see it all thrown together in its weird kind of strange way. I recommend other people watching this if you're into these kind of fucking terrible flicks. It doesn't quite have the rewatchability and maybe the sleaze factor that I like a little bit from these movies. It has a little bit of it, but it's
like a good fun.
Yeah,
sleaze.
It's almost like
earnestness.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like there's like a way. It's like a good fun sleaze, which is like a kind of a new thing for me, perhaps. Yeah,
Sleaze light.
Yeah, it's a good
Sleaze
one.
Light. Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, I liked it. It's weird.
All right. 4 from Joey.
How's about you?
So for me, I'm also going to give it 4 bags. I was kind of on the fence between 3.5 and 4. But Giles, as you were talking, and you were talking about like it's just, a couple of guys, a couple of friends having a good time making a movie. It kind of like jogged something loose in my mind where it's like there's a B that we've been missing this entire time, and that B is buds and boys. And it's just this movie is just 2 buds and 2 boys having a real good time. It's just the boys hanging out.
Boys,
And
the buds and the blondes and the booze.
the buds with their blonde broads having a couple of brewskis, You can't go wrong there.
And they throw in some ninjas. It's fun.
Like this is the movie they came up with in Snakes while they were listening to their band music.
Okay,
on a Friday night.
this is
I
a
still
good,
haven't
this is a good
seen
question.
Snakes.
Snakes. Have you seen Snakes, Giles?
We talked about this briefly, I think, at you.
Yeah, I think we have.
I think at your Halloween shindig. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I have not seen it yet. I cannot wait to watch it because it sounds incredible and unique, and wild.
Yeah, we keep debating about whether to put it on, whether to do it on the show because it's kind of like almost too good to like have chit chat over it and whatnot. Maybe we'll watch it though. It's on Shudder now. It goes by a different name though. I think it goes
by Fangs.
Fangs
Okay,
on
cool.
there. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, this kind of has that similar kind of vibe of that movie, just maybe not quite as perfect, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. Pretty good trash.
I like how in this movie, like, there's lots of action, martial arts, like cars blowing up, people getting, exploded and electrocuted. But like anytime we're with our 2 detective buds, they are in no hurry to get anywhere. There's no it's a very well, and like that's really true of like even like of our like drug thugs too. Like it's a very very
it's an older
chill
man kind of like expediency where it's like that will be handled. We will get to that point. We just got to get there. We got to get into our car slowly and drive to the scene and get
try
out.
Try not to kick over any cans when we're on a stakeout.
Did you want to go to Chicago and shoot something and hang out, or?
You fucking idiot.
There's just a can there.
He runs away.
The worst runaway. Okay. So
what a runaway.
Stuff like that makes this I think it's worthwhile to see at least once.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, so that is Shadow of the Dragon. We've got, I'm not going to do the math right now, but we'll say close to 4 bags of trash cumulative.
Almost 4.
Between the 4 of us.
3.91.
Did you do the math?
Yeah, in my head, I'm really good at math.
Oh,
Okay.
We didn't know.
Thanks, a beautiful mind. So, any final thoughts before we sign off? Any shout outs?
I was going to shout out fake Vin Diesel, but we already mentioned him.
Yeah, everything. We
already
everything that I wrote
mentioned
down to. Oh, okay. I got one thing. The amazing studio set that was made with paper and tape.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout out to that motherfucker that they used at least
Masking
twice,
tape
possibly
dojo.
more, and I didn't notice. But I'm pretty sure they just made it out of paper and tape, which is kudos. Yeah, salute.
I had 2 things written down that haven't been covered. One is toward the beginning of the movie when Morty Seinfeld is on the walkie, and he goes, "It's going down. Seal off the alley. It's going down. Seal off the alley." And it's like you just wanted that to keep happening.
Oh, what was the other line where it's like,
it's been a long time since we've seen each other. How long has it been? It's been a
That's
long time.
the other one that I had written down.
What do you mean?
I hate to sound cliche, but it's been a long time. How long's it been?
A long time.
What's the other one?
Shout out to good dialogue.
She opened that line with like, I don't want to be cliche.
Yes,
but
she said
it's been
it
a
sounds
long time."
cliche, but it's been a long time since we've seen each other. How long has it been? And then the detective goes, "A long time."
Frankly, it's good dialogue. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's funny, but it's also sort of they know what they're doing. Like with it, it's like we're being cliche and doing the thing, and then making the joke out of it. But it seems way better when it's shot so poorly and like recorded so poorly. It's like it works even better. It's very strange.
Yeah,
That's good.
great shit.
Oh,
Anything
shout
else?
out
Anybody?
to panning the camera the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh yes, great camera
Yes.
work.
Excellent.
Shout out, just generally bad TV type coverage.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that one
there was a
medium
lot of
shot.
there was a lot of medium coverage to a jump cut to another medium coverage that's just like 2 feet to the left.
Oh, and I mentioned the Ninja Turtle kid, but shout out to him hitting on that older woman.
Oh, yeah, that kid
for sure.
fucked.
That kid fucks.
Yeah, totally.
I think we were saying as much. Anyway, I have to pee.
Yep. All right. Well, that is, like I said, Shadow of the Dragon, 1992. Thanks for joining this week, Joey Graham, Justin Petty, Christopher Giles.
Such a pleasure.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all the stuff, Trash Movie Kings, trashmoviekings.com, anchor.fm/trashmoviekings. And we'll see you next time.